Hi guys, welcome in if you are a first time viewer, welcome back if you are a returning viewer. Thank you for your likes, your comments, your subscribes, and to those of you who have booked a personal reading with me. Please keep in mind that these are general messages, so do not take them personally. Take the messages that resonate and leave the rest behind. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can find the information in the description box below. So let's get into the message. This message is more about the shadow aspect, right? I saw a video of a little girl who was about 2 years old and she was running from her shadow, right? Her parents were trying to comfort her to let her know that it was a part of her. But it just made me think about how so many people run from their subconscious selves because they are afraid of the attachment, right? Not knowing that you are the one in control of the direction in which your shadow moves. Your shadow or subconscious mind is merely a reflection of the light that shines on you, a reflection of the outline in the space you take up. If we think about it, a shadow is formed when an object blocks the light from shining through something, right? An opaque object. Not being transparent blocks you from accepting a major part of your identity, right? It's a reminder that if you're too afraid to acknowledge your subconscious, think about the reflection you are emitting in the light. You cannot separate from your subconscious thoughts or your shadow. You can only learn to control the direction in which your light shines, which in effect forms the shape of your shadow, right? So I'm going to try to remember to post that video in the comment section just so you can see. It was really supposed to be like a funny video, but that message came through strong when I saw it. All right, so let's pull some cards to see what messages do you have for the collective at this time. Help me to articulate a clear and concise message in order for it to be received in the way that you want it to best be received. Help me to see what it is I need to see to get the message across as clear as possible. And help me to deliver any messages that you deem worthy in order to serve your highest good, for the highest good of humanity with harm to none. What message do you have for the collective at this time surrounding the shadow? And the shadow is just represented by like the subconscious aspect of you, right? The parts of you that carry greed, the parts of you that carry fear, the parts of you that carry self-sabotage, insecurities, overindulgence, addictions, right? Negative cycles, bad habits, right? Those are the subconscious aspects of you, right? The parts that are hidden or that you try to conceal through a sense of protection, right? It can always be like lack, a negative mindset, right? Again, bad habits, creating bad cycles, obsessive thoughts, obsessive habits, right? Depression, anxiety. Okay, so I have neglected here. Give me two more. Yeah. So definitely what I just said, give me one more. Alchemic with abandon. So there's definitely the energy here of acknowledgement, right? Knowing and keeping in mind what parts of you are begging to be acknowledged, right? What parts of you are begging to be seen? What parts of you are kind of calling out to you through a sense of nurturing, right? And not you expecting someone else to nurture that part of you, but you being willing to nurture that own aspect of yourself, right? You being able to learn how to control those fears, those irrational thoughts, those overpowering emotions, right? You being able to step into that place of discipline, you being able to put yourself into that healthy schedule, to that healthy sense of commitment, right? Not abandoning yourself, being more aware of yourself, enlightening yourself or more so taking ownership of the things that don't make you feel so secure, right? Whether that's, again, securing your mind, securing your emotions, but you taking action within those areas, and again, not setting those expectations on those around you, whether that be your friend, whether that be your job, whether that be certain hobbies, whether that be certain connections that you have, right? Whether that be certain mindsets or certain grievances, right? But again, taking ownership of self, right? And acknowledging the areas that can require growth and taking action towards feeding that growth, right? And so definitely transforming that energy, but knowing that you can't transform that energy if you are not first willing to accept the power that it has over you, right? So being able to acknowledge, again, those shadow aspects that really are controlling you because you're not putting yourself in a position to try to understand their need for power. So clarify neglected. Clarify neglected. The Nine of Swords. Yep, the Tower and the Nine of Swords. Self-sabotage, right? Again, putting yourself or tearing down with the Four of Swords. Okay, wow, this is a mental message. Definitely surrounding your fears, definitely surrounding some bad habits or bad cycles, right? Definitely surrounding the shadow, right? Look at all this mental energy, right? If the shadow represents the subconscious, that's the mind, which is air, which is swords, right? So definitely keeping in mind needing to tear down things that are trying to appear bigger than what you are manifesting them to be, right? Because again, if you are blocking something out, you're only casting a wider shadow, right? Whereas if you are transparent with yourself, open with your being vulnerable with yourself, right? Holding yourself accountable, right? Taking action within yourself, right? Being mindful within yourself of what habits and what choices you're making, right? Because again, the choices you make create the cycles that you exist within, right? So definitely being mindful about things that you need to unlearn, being mindful about things that you may need to shift your perspective on, enlightening yourself to things that are no longer or that are not stable enough to maintain a firm foundation within you, within your self-identity, within your courage, within your confidence, right? But again, learning how to face your fears, learning how to, again, take accountability for the own choices that you have made that have put you in the situation that you are existing in, right? And again, that doesn't have to be negative, but it speaks to a room of improvement, right? So maybe there's a skill or lesson or a study that you need to take on, right, in order to be a little bit more successful within a certain area, right? Or maybe there is just a certain, I don't know, again, it's going to resonate for each of you differently, but that was just an example. But again, like being aware and knowledgeable about the areas of improvement in which you need to take on so that you're able to progress to the next level, right? To create that stable sense of mind, right? To create or to prevent that space of overthinking where self-sabotage comes in, where self-doubt creeps in, where you start to experience that self-imposter syndrome, right? Or even just like indulging in those insecurities, right? Again, whatever it is that it may be for you. But stepping into this space of acknowledgement, stepping into this space of enlightenment, seeking that sense of clarity and building things on a firm foundation where you are not moving forward with a lack of clarity, right? But you are doing so with the peace of mind, with the peace of understanding, with I don't want to say lack of expectation, but a free-flowing expectation, right? Where you set a standard, and if that standard is not met, then you are able to transform into a different environment that does meet the standard, right? But again, not setting forth an expectation, because an expectation presets judgment, right? And it does not allow for the space to grow. Whereas a standard allows for that space of growth, right? And you allow for that space without judgment, but with empathy, within understanding, right? And within love, right? All the things. Clarify, unrecognized. Four of Wands, right? That's a mirror. The conscious and the subconscious. If you're not completely satisfied within your physical reality, what in your subconscious is creating that manifestation, right? How is that mirroring back to you within the Hanged Man? How are you committing to certain things that are keeping you stuck within certain areas and that are clarifying this imposter syndrome? Or how can you continue to grow, right? How can you continue to adopt new mindsets that release that self-imposter syndrome, right? Or that sense of self-doubt or lack of confidence, right? What new perspectives can you gain within yourself, right, to grow within those areas, to achieve the things that you are seeking to desire, right, to step into that role of leadership by not just speaking, but doing, right, not just setting the intention, but putting forth the effort, right, not just giving it attention, but moving forward with the intention, right? And definitely challenging your mind, again, to not get so stuck within a specific version of you that you carry that with you through these standards of change, I guess. I'm not sure if that was the right word, but again, like, this Four of Wands is definitely giving like past, future, right? There's a commitment to the past version of yourself that you have made that the future version of you is expecting to see, right? And so if you are, again, not moving forward from those past versions of yourself, then the future version of you is only going to see the past version of you within the present, right? I hope that made sense. Whereas as opposed to you being willing to change, being willing to grow, right? Being willing to accept the areas that require growth, right? Being able to put yourself in the place of the student to learn the lessons so that you're able to apply them in better wisdom to better suit your situation, right? It's all about seeing things from a different perspective and acknowledging how the commitments you make also contribute to the cycles in which you are headed, right? All of those things contribute. Clarify, alchemic. And also questioning, what is it that you're committing yourself to? Are you committing to ignoring the fear? Are you committing to continue to indulge in something that you know is contributing to the karmic cycle that you're desiring to get out of, that you're blaming those around you for being in, right? Are you committing yourself to being wary in that insecurity, right? Are you committing yourself to, I don't know, just, whatever it is for you? Are you committing yourself to blocking yourself off in a sense of protection, right? Or are you going to be open to putting yourself in those positions that may feel comfortable but are not necessarily safe, right? Because just because something feels comfortable, that does not mean that it is safe. It just means that you're comfortable, right? Unwilling to move, stable. What are you committing yourself to? Are you committing yourself to the discipline that happens within growth? Are you committing yourself to the self-confidence that you desire to achieve? Are you committing yourself to the lessons in which you, or are you committing yourself to creating the opportunity so that you're able to prosper in the desires of your heart, right? Give me one more card for alchemy. It definitely has to do with a relationship within yourself, right? What kind of relationship do you have with yourself? What kind of conversations do you have with yourself? What are you doing when you spend time with yourself, right? How do you spend time with yourself? How do your thoughts, what do your thoughts look like when you're spending time by yourself, right? And why do you either avoid that or exist within the safety of that security, right? Justice card at the bottom, right? So again, there's that finding the balance, finding the purpose, finding the intention, finding or having discernment within self. Being able to track your own growth, being able to track your own progression, right? Being able to track the holistic health of your entire being, right? What is the holistic health like? Holistically meaning mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, financially, like in like a holistic. How are you developing as a whole, right? And are you avoiding something out of fear of what that growth will look like, right? Or are you hesitating out of the effort that is going to be required of you, right? Because you're too busy existing in the comfortability that you are avoiding safety. Again, pouring into yourself, listening to your body, listening to your mind, right? Listening to your habits, listening to your thoughts, listening to your emotions, right? Listening to the world around you. What type of conversations are you indulging in? What type of connections are you committing yourself to, right? What type of promises are you making yourself? What type of promises are you making towards other people, right? What type of lessons are you learning? What type of skills are you learning or maintaining, right? What are you building on? Are you practicing anything? Are you learning anything, right? What is your skill set and how can you enhance those skills to the benefit and growth of you and your resources around you, right? How do you continue to create that magnetizing energy where you continue to receive opportunities so that you can continue to give birth to the things that present themselves to you, right? Loaded message. And I hope that I got it all out because it just seems like there's so much within the shadow, right? There's so much within the subconscious that you're being asked to address, that you're being asked to acknowledge about yourself, that you're being asked to acknowledge within the world around you, right? Because the subconscious also manifests within your reality, right? How are you keeping everything around you? Like, what does the world around you look like? And what does that say about who you are as a person, how you are existing, right? Oh, 4 cards. Let's pull 4 cards. 1 card for the lesson we can learn. surrounding this message. One card for the opportunities we can create surrounding this message. One card for what we can meditate on as the focus of this message. And one card for the new cycles and habits we can innovate to contribute to our growth and expansion surrounding this message. Again, tearing down those foundations that don't create that sense of safety and security, right? Not something that's just comfortable, right? Because comfortability often fades. Safety and security is the real protection, right? One card for what we can learn as a major lesson. Surrender, right? So again, letting grief, letting go, surrendering to the vulnerability of your shadow, of your subconscious, surrendering to the vulnerability and surrendering to the attention that you need to give to those fears, surrendering to the attention you need to give to those insecurities, tending to the to your bad habits, right? Tending to your addictions in a way that you are being more disciplined, as opposed to giving in, feeding the flesh, right? Are you feeding your flesh or are you feeding your spirit? If you have not seen that video, there may be a message in there for you if you would like to. It's somewhere on the channel, but it was called, Are You Feeding Your Faith or Are You Feeding Your Fears? But definitely being mindful of not just hoping for the better, not just hoping for the light, not just putting your faith in the light, but also putting your faith within yourself, your whole self. That includes your subconscious, right? Your subconscious is what manifests consciously, right? So you need both, whether you choose to acknowledge them both or not. They both are a part of you and they both exist within your reality, right? So you need to be mindful of both, right? You need to love both, right? You need to care for both. You need to spend time and attention with both, right? So that you're able to learn how to nurture that subconscious, how to nurture those, again, bad habits, those areas of weaknesses where you can build, that you can make stronger, right? Because it doesn't matter to be stronger only in your right arm, right? You need a balance between both, right? You would put the same effort into each so that the strength is maintained, it's balanced, right? One card for the opportunities we can create surrounding this message. Feeling safe, scarcity, right? Again, learning how to feel safe with the subconscious and not feeling like you always have to run from it, right? Because it is a part of you, right? There is no scarcity in your subconscious, right? There's just as much to create from within your subconscious as there is the conscious, right? Again, you need the balance of both in order to create a whole, right? Yeah, spending time with your thoughts, spending time with your mind, spending time with your habits, spending time with your ideas, right? It definitely, look, 444, creating that balance, creating that security within the wholeness of self, creating the balance and security of wholeness within self. Wow. Okay. So definitely learning how to flourish in those fears, right? Overcoming them each time they present themselves, because that's what it's for you to overcome, for you to power through, right? For you to experience it. One more card for what we can meditate on as the focus of this message. Sacred lust with cosmic power, right? Because there's power in what you create, right? And you create from your subconscious, right? And so if you are manifesting your fears, if you are manifesting bad intentions, if you're manifesting your addictions, if you're manifesting your insecurities, right? Then that's because you are letting your subconscious overpower you instead of acknowledging it and learning how to strengthen it in a way that is beneficial to your conscious, that is healthier for your conscious, right? That shows greater strength within your conscious, right? It is that kind of multiplies the power when you create consciously versus when you create subconsciously, right? Manifesting subconsciously does not require any effort, right? It just goes through the depths, right? But creating consciously requires effort. It requires intention. It requires attention to detail, right? Which in effect magnifies the power in which it exudes because you are caring for it holistically, right? As opposed to letting it grow incessantly, I guess is the word. One last card for the new habits and cycles we can innovate to contribute to our growth and expansion surrounding this message. Brazen with wounded healer, right? So again, committing to your confidence, committing to what it is that you're creating, right? Being disciplined and caring for what it is that you're creating, right? So that's again paying attention to yourself, learning how to grow and to heal within oneself, right? Learning how to acknowledge the hurt and the past experiences of oneself so that you're able to put yourself in a position so that you never have to experience that again in the healthiest way possible, right? Not blocking yourself off from opportunities, but setting a standard for the opportunities you wish to indulge in, you wish to experience, right? And not living through an expectation of what you thought would feel safe and secure, but what was just a comfortable space for you, right? So again, that requires you knowing how to care for yourself holistically in all areas of life, not just one. But that is the message that I have for you guys. I hope that it resonated. I know that if you made it to the end of this video, you have found something in it that is worthy and valuable to you. Please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you for watching. Have a good one. Bye.